Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to the extra time segment. Hull City 2, Everton 3, FA Cup third round. I negotiated just about. I'm joined by Owen and Terry. We're going to get through the ins and outs of that game. There's a lot to discuss, a lot more than I'd like to have thought we'd have needed to discuss for an FA Cup game against Hull, but here we are, 3-2 win. I'll start with you, Owen. What did you make of that performance? Is it just a case of get the job done?
Flat as a pancake. It was terrible. I mean, there's playing down to the level of the opponent, and then there's playing like a bunch of just amateurs in Sunday League. It was like we were like Gateshead and we went to Hull. That's how terrible we were. It was just the most mind-boggling, terrible performance I've ever. We've had bad performances this season, but honestly, because even though we won, that could possibly the first half an hour of that, I really didn't want to be in the same room as me. Most people who wanted to watch this, because it was just I'd become apathetic, but that was just completely and utterly pathetic. And I'm glad we're through. I mean, I'm not sure where it leaves us in terms of the fixture schedule and games, but not my job to organise that. But no, I thought we were really poor, really lucky, and God knows it was Hull tiring very quickly was the reason we got through, and that because there's another Millwall written all over it. But I think they were a bit more, I don't know, they were a bit smarter than Hull. I thought Hull were a bit balmy at times in that game, but yeah, good job they were, otherwise we wouldn't be in the fourth round.
Indeed. Obviously, we started off terribly, 40 seconds, and we're behind from the set piece. I mean, I discussed with Connor in the preview for this game that they're going to get us on set pieces because, one, that's how lower league opposition usually manage to upset the big boys, but also we're just terrible at defending set pieces. So, of course, they're going to get a set piece goal against us, and I just didn't think it had happened that quickly. 40 seconds, and we were behind. Like, what in God's name is he doing in training with set pieces?
You could have stopped that training and didn't have to carry on and say set pieces, but you know, it is particularly bad. I mean, we've gone from having a season where I'm not sure we conceded too many of it's not at all from set pieces, apart from that mad game against Tottenham we had in the cup, to every time the opposition get fouled in and around our box, you think they're going to score. And I remember Marco Silva had a similar spell where everything just seemed to go against us in that regard. But this is as brain dead. And to be fair, I think we changed. I'm not sure we changed, but we got better towards the end of that sort of bad spell we had back then. Now, I'm not sure the managers for changing in terms of
absolutely not
a system together that might help us. Well, getting a system together that doesn't have 7'8" Dan Burn free at the back post when you play Brian, that would do.
Honestly, it just makes your head spin when you see, like, that's the last two games you've just reeled off. The amount of set piece goals we're conceding is astronomical.
Rather give away a penalty than a corner. Like, at the minute, It's just that bad. Like, you get a better chance saving a penalty than defending a corner with these set piece setups.
Yeah, I've got no positives on that front. I mean, I thought this sort of proper tactically astute organiser we had in dugout who was going to save us from Neil's of just play last season to get all this sorted, but it seems not.
Do you remember when Benitez was appointed and there was pictures of him in training in the summer and all the weirdos were going, oh, it's great to have a manager with a plan now, all based off a few photos of him just in a cap talking to Anthony Gordon. It's like, it's good to have a manager with a plan. I was just thinking at the time, going, I mean, he might be good, but what are you talking about? Well, here we are.
I'm not going to comment on that.
The plan is to go down to Hull 1-0 after 40 seconds.
If we really boil it down, saying Rafa Benitez is a proper coach, I mean, that just makes me laugh on so many levels. you're a manager. Your responsibility is to manage people as well as manage a team and a system, and he fails on all three parts at the moment. But we'll be talking about Benitez, I'm sure, all through this, but the players as well. The first half an hour, we no one seemed bothered except the two wide players. But that might just be in part of the fact that our game plan is to volley the ball so quickly into our wide players. It's unbelievable. And just say, go and do something with it. It's so elementary. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness
we won
to
the
some of the
game
players. But in terms of the actual personnel, like like you say, I think Gray, Gordon, some good performances there. Good link-up play for the first goal between Gray and Gordon. Some good technical there. Andre Gomez got a goal, which was...
I know you told him he could go in the box.
You know, I've never seen Andre Gomez in the area until that goal.
Yeah, well, he did. He was fine. He's not that bad when you get legs around him, but when we don't, he just gets shown up. And I mean, I don't really care about him that much anymore because people have kind of finished with him. But I do see that if you got two mobile midfielders in the same team as him, then he might be all right. He's just incredibly slow and ponderous. But it's good to see him in the box and getting his head on something.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, Alan as well. Alan comes in for some terrible stick. I'm not sure why. Maybe because he's one of Carlo's signings, and because everything that Carlo does is wrong. Then, it might be due to that. But I think Alan, he's a good player. I think people need to calm down when they talk about the players when they're set up so terribly.
I think it's just ridiculous when you think about... Like, I think you're saying, like, people would say that, trying to pretend that Benitez is an upgrade on Ancelotti. I mean, there's no ground for that. There's no ground for that whatsoever.
The people still saying this because the people who probably were saying it are even muted or blocked on my social media. So I wonder if that's still a recurring opinion shared. I mean, the problem with people are the too reactionary and the too emotional. It's difficult because football's an emotional sport, but I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of facts that go missing, especially at Everton. But I feel Gray and Gordon. I think they are the two big positives of this whole season so far, and I think he showed it again on Saturday night. I think Gordon in particular, he's come on a lot this season. I think he had a pretty miserable loan spell at Preston where he was going to go there in the expectation of playing under Alex Neil, who did very well and did a good job there, but then wasn't good enough apparently. And then he brought in that dimwit Frankie McAvoy, who, unless you're 38, you wouldn't play. So he didn't get another game and ended up coming back. And then credit to Benitez of keeping him around and developing him well. And yeah, he's done really well. I was sceptical at first when he was one of our options because I hadn't seen enough, but he's done very well. And as for Damari Gray, I can safely say I've been proven very wrong on Damari Gray because when he was bought, I thought I'm not really sure on this. I've never seen anything from him that suggested he was anything other than a quick wide play with very, very little end product. And he seemed to have lost his way going to Germany and sitting on the bench every week. I thought, is this going to be another Lookman situation where, we have a lot of sort of promise, but he seems to frustrate and wouldn't get many games, and it would be a bit of a waste of all our time. But no, he's been excellent. He's really dragged us through the season with the injuries we've had and the sort of absentees and players being off form. It's very lucky we've had him to sort of steer us through. He somehow carried us to a position where we probably will stay up. And if it weren't for him, I imagine we would be very, very much looking down the barrel at the moment.
Certainly, and I think you say he carried us. I think that's quite literally what it is. He's a good ball carrier, isn't he?
Sure. His end product has been much better than anything I've seen from him previously, and whether it be Benitez or, but he likes to take credit for everything that goes well, Benitez. So we'll presume this is his decision because everything else that possibly goes well is also his decision. So, so fair play to Rafa.
I don't think we'll be saying that phrase very often in the weeks to come, but one of the other things he did, obviously, with bringing Andros Townsend, and I think he did manage to conjure up another brilliant goal to win the game for us as well, which is, that's the one thing he has got going for him, Townsend, I think, because he is technically gifted, but he just doesn't do what he did against Hull regularly enough.
I'm not the person to be asking about Andros. It's Terry, his number one fan, who puts a picture of Alan Brazil on Twitter every time he scores.
I mean, I don't know why anyone's surprised. It's Andros Townsend, isn't it? He's his 5 good games a year have pretty much nearly all run out now, haven't he? Like, he had 3 more at the beginning, and now he's had another one. But if he scores, I'd be surprised if he scores another all season, unless it's penalties, because he's on penalties, isn't he? So, yeah, he came on. Credit to him for getting back fit again so quickly. Let's be honest, he had a stab at the goal, and it's gone through a paper mache keeper. Like, I'm not taking the goal away from him. It was a good goal, but it's like, can't really call that like a banger like the one against Burnley. That was unbelievable. It was Burnley, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I just think in general, the match, it's just, it's the FA Cup. It's not top trumps. You don't just turn up and then your club power level beats the other one. People lose to worse teams than them in the FA Cup. But we've gone
like
there.
Newcastle.
Yeah, we've gone against the team who are 19th in the Championship. We've looked very even with them and have won the game because we had one more moments of individual quality than they did. Because our goals, we had the Gray goal, obviously the Andre Gomez goal, and the long distance goal from Townsend. So is that not embarrassing from a manager's point of view that your team looked an even match with the 19th team in the Championship and you were bailed out by individual moments from players? That is dire from the manager. Like, I'm not saying we should have gone there. No, they shouldn't have any possession because we're Everton and they're Hull. But we should have looked better than them. In the course of a 90-minute game, they should have been having their moments, but we were controlling the game. Whereas it looked like they were controlling the game. We just had our moments, made them count. So I'm glad we're in the hat. So every team who's ever won the FA Cup always has that round they talk about where, that team gave us a game in that round and we nearly went out. And let's be honest, we're probably not going to win the FA Cup this year, but say we did, this would be one of those games like, we played Hull 3rd round and it was difficult. But it's not this, it's give Benitez breathing room type moments that all the press and all the pundits want it to be. Like, he's won a game now. What are you all crying about? It's fine. It wasn't a good performance. There were some good moments, but there were also some bad moments. I mean, that goal, the first goal we conceded, you just feel like going, it was like not even a minute in. I just felt like going be arsed and just turning the television off. It was just, it's like this, you seem to get. In fact, no, I was about to go off on Benitez then, but I'll save it for the next segment. But yeah, it's not good, is it? This renowned defensive master of a coach he's not got us defending set pieces very well, has he? And he's the same players who were excellent at them under Ancelotti and were terrible at them under Silva. So what's the difference? It's when you have a good manager.
What's the common denominator?
You what, sorry?
I said, what's the common denominator there? The manager.
I know, the common denominator, it's the manager. It's just when you've got a good manager, you can be good at them, and when you've got a bad manager, you can be bad at them. It's not rocket science.
Yeah. So anyway, in terms of the game, we'll just finish up on this game. Obviously, like you say, we're in the next round. The draw's been done. We've got Brentford at home. What's your take on Brentford at home? Is that a good draw for us? I mean, being at home's always a big thing, I think, for us to help us, but you can't even be confident about beating Brentford now, can you?
If we're not confident going into the game, just pretend you've got a few COVID tests and say they were false positive and get it called off. Just wait till you're ready. Seems to work for other clubs, doesn't it? So
if we have any sense, we'll be squeezing the lemon juice onto the lateral flow test as we speak.
Honestly, you can't ask for anything other than a home draw, and not against one of the, well, let's face it, the top 4 clubs in England or top 3 clubs in England. So our home against a non-top 3 club, can't ask for more than that.
Yeah. So for now, we'll leave it at that for the FA Cup for the time being. We've got a little discussion coming up later on where we'll be discussing Rafa Benitez in more depth. Woo! But yeah, loads to look forward to there, guys. Thanks for tuning in on the Toffee Blues, and give this video a comment, like and subscribe. And until next time, thanks for tuning in.